Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 449th episode of my series, where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. So today we're returning to Lil Wayne, who I've kind of inadvertently been covering backwards, at least when it comes to his legendary Carter series, because pretty early on in the days of this channel, I touched on 2008's The Carter 3, and then much more recently, I covered my favorite Lil Wayne album, 2005's The Carter 2, both of which I'll leave a link for in the description down below. Today we're talking about the first installation of The Carter, which dropped in 2004, and while it may have been the start of an iconic series, in a way I also see it as the end of an era, because virtually all of the previous Hot Boys discography had been virtually solely produced by Mannie Fresh, because virtually all the previous Hot Boys work had either been partially or fully produced by Mannie Fresh, and even though he made almost every beat for The Carter, that would be the last time Mannie had a role in one of these full-length Lil Wayne solo LPs up until The Carter 5, I believe, which is definitely a main factor as to why everything following this album was such a departure sonically. This was probably necessary for Wayne to evolve and grow as an artist, but I still do enjoy returning to earlier projects like The Block is Hot, Lights Out, 500 Degrees, and of course The Carter here. Because Lil Wayne and Mannie Fresh have such a deep and fundamental connection, especially coming from the same area, and that leads to an unspoken understanding of what sounds and ideas properly convey that experience that they shared growing up in the Magnolia projects. Of course, Weezy had already been a lyrical prodigy for years by this point, but in my opinion, this is the first project where he really begins to carve out the idiosyncratic wordplay and delivery that we all know him for today. And another high standard that the first installation of The Carter set for the rest of the series going forward is kicking the album off with an explosive starting track, which this time around comes in the form of Walk In, and I definitely want to share Wayne's opening verse here, because it's one of many top-tier Weezy introductions. After the brief spoken word part at the beginning, Tunechi comes in rapping, "This is the Carter, y'all welcome. Hard as Malcolm, dark as the Falcon, Lord help him, but y'all felt him. That makes you a part of me and pardon me. If a part of me is what you want to be, what you ought to be, doing recording me, I'm just acting accordingly. I give orders to the commander-in-chief, just the commander and me, handling streets in the Mandarin B. I hear you haters slandering me, I just hand him the P. Any drama, I pace it like Indiana. I take your grandma pacemaker and just handle the piece. Not two fingers, I simultaneously bop two bangers. You do not want Angus USDA prime beef. I'm so ahead of these trendy rappers, speed up, I'm already hot when another one's starting to heat up. Got Mannie hot with me cause I always beat his beats up. Y'all cats with your feet up starting to look like beat up. I'm G'd up on the beat up. In the truck, gotta put my seat up. In the trunk, I got my bass and I ain't speaking about no speakers. What's leaking up out your speaker is the speech of Weezy F, baby. No more, no less, baby, so forth and so on." While Mannie Fresh did the vast majority of the production here, there were a few other names who contributed the odd instrumental here or there, and that roster consisted of Raj Smooth, Leslie Brathwaite, Jazzy Fa, and Lil Wayne himself. There's also a handful of featured artists on The Carter, and those include Mannie Fresh, Real, Birdman, and Jazzy Fa once again. When it comes to the honorable mentions that I want to shout out this time around, I'm going to recommend songs like Go DJ, This is The Carter, BM Jr., We Don't, Bring It Back, Who Wanna, Get Down, Snitch, Only Way, Shine, and Walk Out. Then for my overall top 3 favorite tracks outside of the intro, I'd probably have to go with I Miss My Dogs, On My Own, and Ain't That a Bitch. Thank you for watching my 449th video. Next time we're going to touch on an old school legend who kind of found a second career in the podcast game. So tap in for that one, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite moments from this beginning of an iconic series are. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.